Welcome to the Level Up Life podcast. I'm your host, Scottie Hobbs, where we're here to remind you that your family's your most important work, help you feel better, and learn how to make more income for your family. I'm here with my friend Devon. Devon is a land agent for Midwest Land Group, a real estate professional, outdoorsman, entrepreneur, and founder of Hunt Fit, a platform built around discipline, faith, and earning everything the hard way. Based in Texas, Devon has built his business on grit, consistency, and authentic connection, specializing in land and rural properties while helping clients navigate some of the biggest financial decisions of their lives. His journey is rooted in hard work and personal growth. Through real estate, fitness, and the outdoors, Devon has created a brand that represents resilience, preparation, and pushing beyond average. Whether he's closing deals, training in the barn, or chasing once-in-a-lifetime hunts in unforgiving country, he lives by the belief that nothing meaningful is given, it's earned. Through Hunt Fit and his personal platforms, Devon challenges others to raise their standards physically, mentally, and spiritually. His mission is simple: build strong bodies, strong businesses, and strong faith, and inspire others to do the same. Devon, welcome to the show.
Yeah, man. So my name's Devon, as you said. I've been living in Texas the last 2 years, so I guess I can claim Texas now. I do farm and ranch sales full time. That's my full time gig. Absolutely love it. Got a couple stuff on the side. I played college lacrosse, so really involved in the lacrosse community around here. Still coach with some buddies on the side, and it's really nice just to give back to the community that way after being involved with it so long at a high level. And then also I have Hunt Fit, which is, really being really into my fitness and being an outdoorsman. Really just got into the hunting and fitness world. So it helped train people to get ready for big time hunts.
That's awesome. Man, you got your hands in a lot of things, but how old are you again?
26 years old.
26. I love that you're out there just dipping your hands in things that you're passionate about and giving back to your community, like coaching lacrosse and going all in on that. Now, I have a question. Let's talk about the real estate a little bit. So you do land sales, like farm and land sales?
Yep, farm and ranch sales.
Okay, farm and ranch sales. What got you, like, what inspired you to get into that? How long have you been in that field?
Yeah, so I've always been into real estate. I started in college, was doing some commercial real estate internships and stuff like that. And so we have a farm in Kansas. It's
Okay.
my dad's farm, and I think that's where I kind of fell in love with the outdoors and really seeing. I'd see like the for sale signs up, and you'd want to either I'd hear about leases and people buying property and selling them. I was always interested in it, but never really found my in. Well, when I was, entering the real world, I got a really nice, commercial real estate job downtown Austin. That's like how I got my start in Texas, started meeting people, and I kept seeing all these farm and ranch companies, and I was like, man, that's just what I love. That's what I feel called to do. So I thought back to my farm in Kansas and those Midwest Land Group signs that I've seen in the past, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna entertain a call here and kind of dove and poked around a little bit and ended up getting in contact with Midwest Land Group, and it's just been awesome. And I dove, head first and went full on with the farm and ranch sales, and I there's no turning back. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's got to be fun. I saw something on Instagram the other day. It was like people, this is how the world is today. People are like wanting to shift from like having this vacation home with palm trees to like wanting to own like 100 acres and a little cabin out in the middle of nowhere.
100%. I think that shift really happened in COVID too, because
Yeah.
there was, all real estate was great, but I mean, specifically for farm and ranch sales, I mean, people wanted to get away. It's like the first time people were just wanting to get away from other people. Like, you really saw a big shift in people wanting to go outside and get involved in activities. So, like, we do a lot of recreational pieces where it's just raw land and people want to go camp, ride horses, go hunting, go fishing, just need an escape from, the day to day. And I think ever since then, that's where I've seen a lot more of like what you just touched on, people putting their
Yeah.
money and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I think that's part of my big dream too. Like I keep putting it off by like doing other like Airbnbs and building our dream house, but it's still there, like on a big hunting ranch with lots of property.
absolutely. And it changes state to state. Texas is, over 90% private land. So, it's not like people can get out and go on public hunting ground like they can out west and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I've seen a lot go to that direction. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. So talk to me a little bit about, you said you played college lacrosse. Did you
Yes,
play in high
sir.
school as well, or when did you start playing lacrosse?
I did. I actually grew up on the East Coast, so originally from New Jersey. So born and raised there up through high school. I went to a really nice, got super lucky to go to a private high school in New Jersey where I got recruited and, did up and down. It's an East Coast sport, lacrosse. So it was up and down the East Coast from New York all the way down to the Carolinas. And for whatever reason, I think just being like the Midwest style that I love, I went out and I visited Marquette, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So
Okay.
at the time, I believe only Denver University, was the furthest west in Division One lacrosse. And I think Marquette was number two. Notre Dame's in Indiana out there, but so not a lot of, Midwestern lacrosse going on, and I wanted a piece of that. So I ended up going across up at Milwaukee, Wisconsin at Marquette.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, like I see a lot of parallels with people that are entrepreneurs or become more successful in life when they play in competitive sports. Like, what do you think what are some lessons that you learned through playing lacrosse at like a higher level?
Yeah, I mean, you can go a bunch of different avenues with that. Going through like the grind, the physical grind every day and being a part of a team translates great to the real world. You learn physically, how you operate under high physical stress and demand. Same thing with, having a t team, right? Like if I'm not performing, I'm letting 50 other guys down. And I think that just translates really well to, the workforce because in most things I mean entrepreneurial, like you can get into some things where there's solo, you're doing your own work and not really, but I mean in most regard you're around a team, you're around a company, you're building and you work off of other people, and I think that's where you see most of that, collateral happen.
Yeah, that's one of the conversations I keep having with my kids. Like, I have kids in competitive dance, competitive cheerleading, basketball, travel baseball, football, like all of them. And it always comes back to the conversation about be a good teammate, be the one that's like cheering on your team. Like, you don't have to be the top scorer. It's, about being just a good teammate and a good human. And that's going to translate throughout your life.
Yeah, and that's what they say. They say own your role, right? Everyone's got different jobs, but it's all for a bigger purpose. And I think it's if people are able to get on board with that, whether it be in their sport or their job or their company, that's when you're able to see really substantial growth, which I think is pretty cool.
Own your role. I like that. Now let's talk a little bit about hunting. Like now we're gonna get this is where it could get dangerous and we could go a long time.
Yeah,
So you're big into hunting as well. Your brand is called Hunt Fit, correct?
unfit. Yes, sir.
So I want to talk a lot about hunting, but why did you start Hunt Fit? Like when did that idea, when was that born? Like what's it been like?
Yeah, well, it's really cool. I mean, there's guys out there that are kind of already doing. I mean, you've heard of have you heard of Cameron Haynes?
Oh, I know Cam Haynes. Do you know like Lydia Smith and Sheldon Howe?
Yep,
They
yeah,
live right here in Idaho Falls with me.
yeah, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, I know. I'm familiar with all the hunt guys.
So it's cool. It's very niche. Like you get these people who go on like big time hunts, like out in the mountains, and it's physically demanding, as you know. Like you can look up at a mountain and be like, oh, I can get up that. When you're looking up top, looking down, you're like, wow, that was a very different experience than what I thought it was going to be. So I've always been into fitness, like sports, whatever, just in general. And people don't really correlate hunting and fitness together necessarily. When you think of a hunter, you probably think of a big guy dressed in camo eating Little Debbie's and drinking a Mountain Dew or something like that. But there's guys like and girls like you just mentioned out there that kind of change that mold and change the way because the more success you are able to have in the weight room, it corresponds to the success that you have in the backcountry. And
Yeah.
I was just on a hunt in August with my dad in Northwest Territories, almost as far north as you can go in Canada. And I was hunting a Dall sheep, and he was hunting a mountain caribou. And when they say mountain caribou, they're not kidding. The caribou that he got was almost in Dall sheep, like tip of the mountain as high up as you can go. But I was talking to the guide. You have to be up there with the guide. You're not allowed in Northwest Territories without it. And I was like, man, like, thank you for being so patient, like with my dad, because like he's almost 60 years old. I mean, it was hard for me to do it. I can't imagine having another lifetime and then doing it at my dad's age. And he's like, man, your dad's 99% of my clients. He's like, you're the weird one. He's like, I'm not used to turning around and having people right behind me. So I got to talking with him, and he was like, yeah, it's like most of the time I'm just convincing people to continue another day. Like the first day we went out there, we did 15.7 miles with packs
That's a
on.
lot. Yeah.
It's a lot. If you were just walking like that, in comfiest shoes, good socks and everything like that, being out in the mountains and packing it, that's a whole different ball game. So I was like, would it change the dynamic of a hunt if your guys were in shape? Because he said 90% of the people are, clocking a lot of desk time, like really successful, able to pay for these hunts, but they're not able to physically do them because their lifestyles don't align with that. So he was like, man, if guys were fit and in shape like you, it would be a game changer. They'd have more fun, we'd have more success, we'd probably get it done quicker, stuff like that. And I just got to thinking, I'm like, man, I can help, I'm not a personal trainer, but I can help people get ready. I know what to do to prepare for hunts like that.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how it all started. I started getting in contact with people in the industry. There's like Rich Froning, who was, the fittest man on earth. He's a big CrossFit guy. He started Mayhem Hunt, and there's Train to Hunt and Mountain Tough, and there's a bunch of companies who are kind of doing that on like a commercial level, where they're building programs and saying, "Hey, here's a program. This is what you need to do." I like the one-on-one. So if you told me you're like, "Hey, Devin, I'm going on a bow hunting trip in Idaho," that terrain looks a lot different than the desert of New Mexico or whatever it may be. So
Mhm.
we'll kind of talk back and forth and put a plan together, strategize for your conditions, your hunt, how many days a week you're willing to allocate, an hour a day, what are you looking for? So more so just helping. I want to hear the story too. As the hunt's over, I'm like, man, how'd it go? Did you get anything? And it's just such a cool community of guys that I wanted to be a part of and try to grow.
That's awesome. So Hunt Fit, do you have an Instagram page people can find you on?
Yeah, it's just hunt fit underscore. So
Hunt
all the
Fit underscore score. Okay. Well, at the end of this podcast too, we'll grab all your links and where people can connect with you, and whether it's for getting some land or going on some epic hunts.
yeah, you'll see in
Getting
my bio.
ready.
Yeah, my personal page is just Devon Cowan underscore, and then the hunt fits attached. But really, I mean, between the outdoorsman, like the hunting and fishing stuff, and then like the land stuff, I love hanging with like-minded people. I mean, even if it's not even in that space, like just talking business, whatever it is, I think that's why we're getting along and why we connected, and I just think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think well, that's one of the main reasons I started a podcast like 3 years ago. Is I'd been in a place where I'd been like the mentor and teaching people how to build. Like I helped develop 60 people that earned over six figures a year and five people who earned $1 million a year in affiliate sales. But I was always the one teaching everybody else. And so I was like, I need to get around other people. So that's when I started doing a podcast, is just so I can meet people that are doing all different, whether it's high level athletes or business owners. It's like I want to get perspective from all types of different people from all different fields. It's just fun. And then it's you network and meet incredible people that way.
Yeah, and I was looking at, when I came across your socials, I'm like, man, this guy does everything. So I'd like to hear a little bit more about what you do too.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit about that. So I do health, and I've done health and fitness, like help people with meal plans and workouts and supplements for almost 16 years now. But when we started, my wife and we got married. I told you before we started this, I played guitar for like 25 years. I played in a band. And
That's
so I met
awesome.
my wife at Warped Tour, and then I fell in love quickly. Probably took her like 2 or 3 months. And then we got engaged, had a baby, and we were married and had a baby within 1 year. So it was like super fast. And this year will be our 20-year anniversary being married.
Incredible,
And
man.
we have 5 kids. So when we started though, like we lived in my sister's brother's basement, and I was a dental lab technician. I dropped out of regular college. I didn't graduate. I went to a tech school, and so I did dental lab technician for 2 years while we had our first baby, and we had the help of Medicare, WIC, because I was making $11 an hour. She worked at the hotel making like seven, and I was like, man, these diapers and formulas is expensive. Like I need to move back to Idaho because we were in Utah. That's where I met her. So I moved back here, and there's no dental lab jobs. So I went back to work where I worked all through high school and college in a steel factory. And I worked there 5 years before I left. But like in those 5 years, we had three kids, and I worked 12-hour days for 5 years straight. And so 5 a.m., I'd be at work at 5 a.m., home at 5 p.m. She would go to work at the Hilton Garden Inn at 3 and then get off at 11. And so she'd drop the kids off at the babysitter. They'd be there 2 hours. I'd pick them up on my way home. I just knew that wasn't the way I was supposed to live my life. Like during that time, I never went hunting in those 5 years, and I loved hunt. Like I shot a like buck every year of my life from like age 12 until I got married, and then I never went hunting anymore. So I knew I wasn't living life how I wanted to. So I started like all kinds of little side businesses. Like I made a sign company for cabins. Like I made custom signs that would say like your last name and have like a couple elk with their horns together and stuff. And
Yeah.
I did that. I bought and sold things on Craigslist, and then I found an affiliate program I did a workout program, and then found out there's an affiliate program for it. So I was
Nice.
like, I'm so busy that I can't add anything else because I was doing those side businesses. So I put it off for 9 months. I was like, not for me. That's cool. Because I wasn't on social media. I was like, I can't do that. Like, I'm just so busy.
Yeah.
And 9 months later, my third daughter came, and like the bills just came in, man. The doctor bill, the hospital bill, the
Yeah.
insurance. I'm like, dude, do I have to go back to college? I didn't graduate. Do I need a second full-time job? And it's like, you've probably been like this before. Like you lay in bed at night and you
Can't
trying to
sleep.
figure out what to do. You can't sleep. Well,
Yep.
that was me. And I was like, just do that affiliate thing. And one thing about me is like, I'm all in when I do something.
Yeah.
So I went all in with it, and in 14 months, I built it to a six-figure business, like earning 2,000 a week in commissions. Left my wife and I both left our jobs, and that was 2012. So I did that all the way from 2012 until 2024, the fall of 2024. And it was a direct sales, multi-level marketing. So I could sell to customers, I could recruit other affiliates, and then teach them how to do what I was doing. So in that time is when I developed 60 people that earned six figures.
That's
Five
awesome.
people earned $1 million a year. Like I earned over 10 million in commissions during those 14 years. And we just were really smart with our money. Like I still drive the same truck I bought when I had my first six-figure year, and it wasn't even a new truck.
Yep.
And I still drive it now. It's like 15 years old. And we would just buy. My first was a dream property, a lake house in front of my favorite like fishing lake. So I bought that for my family and kids and grandkids and my parents to use. And then we started buying vacation rentals. And I built that business. I was earning over $1 million a year by year four. And
That's awesome.
so we still lived on like 60,000 a year with our kids.
Yep.
And so I would just buy a property and pay it off in like 2 years, buy another, pay it off, buy another, pay it off. So I did that over the course of 14 years. And then tragically, our business was taken away from us out of nowhere in 2024. They just cut it out, said, hey, we're no longer doing this.
Affiliate program.
Yeah. Yeah. But fortunately, just living within our means and investing, like we were building this, our dream house, it's like the dream house. Like it has an indoor swimming pool and a basketball court and all that fun stuff. But that was scary.
Yeah.
Like I was halfway through, it was just barely sheetrocked, and we're building a house in Park City that's like 1.69
Insane, man.
build plus this one, and we lost our business. And
Yeah.
so that was a little scary, but thanks to the podcast, I had a
Yep.
guy on about 7 months before that happened that was the highest earner in the world in direct sales, earning 1.6 million a month. And he was launching his own company with peptides. And so I
Okay.
interviewed him. I found him on Instagram. I interviewed him. Obviously, he tried to recruit me, but I couldn't do both.
Yeah.
But so I knew about it, and I was like, oh, that's going to be awesome. But I had a business that I was already involved in. And then when that got taken away after crying for a couple days and not sleeping again, I was like, time. It's not rebuilding. It's like starting fresh. I'm gonna start fresh, help build this peptide company. And so that's kind of my journey of where I've been. So I do podcasts. I still do the same type of work. I help people with natural peptides, and then I teach people how to build a business. So my vision by 2030 is to develop 100 six-figure earners and $10 million a year earners. And that's what gets me up. working every single day on the dream. So I podcast, build that, and then just real estate.
Man, I love it. It's super
Oh,
cool. Yeah, I
yeah.
call it a Swiss Army knife. You can do a little bit of everything, and
Yeah.
I
And
think
that's why I
that's
think it's so cool you at 26 getting started. I didn't start that first business that I built to six figures until I was 29. I started. So by 30 was when I had my first full-time business that could provide for my family.
yeah, and it's crazy, man, because it's like I still, being at, I'm 26, I still feel way behind the curve, and I think it's
Uh,
cool. And then I know everyone says, "Man,
I'm like, dude,
way
you're
ahead,
ahead, man.
you're way ahead of where I was." But I mean, I think just because I hang out with, I guess older, you're not old, but like older than I am and successful guys, I'm like, I want to be where you're at. And I just have a hard time accepting that I'm not there. So I think it's good in a way because I'm able to, pick up a lot, learn a lot, but at the same time, it's like every day I'm like, man, I got to get there. I got to, keep grinding on it. But it'll happen
Yeah.
naturally. I think I'm on the right path.
Yeah, it's good to have those people around you that inspire you to do more.
Yeah,
Because there's two types of people. One could look at it and be like, ah, they got lucky or this and that. And there's the people like, okay, how do I get to that level? Like I need to get myself around those people and learn from their life experiences and
100%.
maybe learn some shortcuts along the way.
Yeah, and I think it's also like another thing that I wanted to mention was just like moving to Austin, Texas. Like, yes, I'm just outside the city now. My first year, I was right downtown, but people are like, "Man, why do you like Austin?" Like, I don't have like family here. Like, I only knew one person moving here originally. I'm like, the amount of people that I've met in such a short amount of time who are either fitness, social media, just entrepreneurs in general, uh, bought and started a bar, like just followed their passion and have done something really amazing is just so inspiring. I think moving here, I've never met or been to such a cool, driven community. So I think that's also helped a ton because I know if I was living somewhere else, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah, it's kind of like that image you've probably seen of like a little fish inside of a fish bowl and it can't grow and because it's in its small environment. So getting outside of that environment can help you stretch and realize you're much more capable. I'm like fortunate in the way of like just thinking back to when I was like your age. I remember 12-hour days and I was like I wrote on a piece of paper before I ever had a business. I want to have $1 million in the bank, be retired at 50 and have my house paid off. Like so I knew I had some sort of goal and direction of where I wanted my life to go. And it's crazy thinking back that I was willing to like, I'll work 12-hour days if I have to until I'm 50 if I can just retire.
Have that.
But
Yeah.
I would be driving home from work and I would see people with like a trailer with like ATVs or UTVs or a boat. And I'm like, how the heck do they afford that? I could barely pay my mortgage. Like, what are they doing? So I was just curious, you know. And then I had a leader of my church that was he owned like eight gas stations and owned a company called Kiani, and it was a direct sales company. And so, like, just seeing people like that and be like, okay, there's stuff out there. I just gotta ask enough questions and figure it out.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, I do the same thing here. Like when I go run, like outside of, neighborhoods over or areas here in Austin, like I don't run with headphones on, anything like that. I mean, I think a lot on those runs, but I also just
Yeah,
like, man, I see these beautiful houses. And I'm like, man, like it's only a matter of time because, I want to be successful. And I think who was it? I don't know if it was Joe Rogan or Dana White, but was saying how easy it is to be successful in this generation because like my generation is so soft.
yeah,
Uh, I think overall, yeah, I think people see the digital age and people get lazy and stuff like that, but I just want to find a way to do it. And exactly like you said, I'll do whatever it takes. So,
yeah. That's the important thing. Like right now, I call it separation season. Like
yep,
just so many people are distracted with social media and news and drama and it's like if you can just eliminate that distraction and do income producing activities for whatever it is, whether it's selling land or whether it's building your brand, and then like you can set yourself apart from the crowd so easily.
100%. And I think going back to the land stuff too, like, it's for some people, it's what they do. They'll buy land, they'll sell it, whatever. But for some people, it's their biggest financial decision they'll ever make.
Yeah.
So knowing that I have, somewhat of control around that decision, not control, I'd say, ability to help people through that is super special too. And I think that, you stay in that game long enough and people trust you and they see that you treat them right and you work hard. I think that'll also just come back twofold.
Yeah, if you help someone like that, they're going to be happy to purchase from you in the future or send you a referral.
100%.
Easy. So
Not
what
easy, but
easy, simple, simple.
simple, not easy.
Not
Exactly.
easy, but simple. The concept is so simple. Just
100%.
treat people good, put their needs before, like truly put them before your own, and the money will follow. It'll always
100%.
follow. It comes and it goes. Money comes and it goes. That's what I always say. When if my wife ever feels stressed about finances for some reason, I'll be like, it comes and it goes. Like it'll be
Yep.
here when we need. As long as we stay true to putting other people first and serving others and giving of our time to help, like it'll come back.
Yeah, and I heard you say the word serve, and I heard you mention that you went to a church. How do you think your faith is, come into a factor here?
Oh man, 100%. Like we could talk about a lot of stories about this, but like let me give you an example. My first business, like I only had like 226 friends on Facebook when I launched my online helping people with health and fitness.
Yeah.
And I was at work 12 hours a day, so I can't go talk to people. And I would set a goal to bring on 5 new customers a month.
Okay.
And I said that from the beginning, and I never missed that for 14 and a half years, never once.
Yep.
And there would be times like I would be working, I have what are called the income produced activities. I'll just tell you what they are because it would work for real estate, it would work for anything that is sales, car sales, selling supplements, selling your shirts. Is I show up on social media every day and be a role model, like teach something, be a role model. Number two, meet 5 new people a day on social media or in person. The third one, invite them to take a look at your product or opportunity with
Yep.
no obligations. Then five, follow up with them. And so I just do those things really. It only takes an hour a day. Like to build my business is an hour a day.
Yeah.
And like I'm a full-time dad and then building this empire like with an hour a day. Like when I teach somebody, most of them are full-time parents. I'm like, it takes an hour a day. Like get rid of
Right.
scrolling social media, do these 5 things. But sometimes I would do those, I would set goals, I would do those things. They would be like it's the 24th. The last day of this month is 28th. So
Yep.
there would be some months across the 14 years where it'd be like, I don't have one new customer. Like this is crazy. And it would always come back to my morning routine. I have 2 journals here. One, I write out my goals every day and my vision, and one, it's like gratitude.
Yeah.
And I write it out, and I'd write it out, and like I would sit in prayer and meditation in the morning, and like, hey, big man, I've been showing up, I've been serving my people the best I can, and I have not found the people this month. Like
Yeah.
help my message reach the right person, or help that person that I maybe contacted a year ago to see something that inspires them to reach out back out to me. And somehow it always, like there was times I would close like 5 customers on a like the last day of the month. And it was
Yeah.
like I never missed it, but it was always like just having faith. Like if I just do the steps, the outcome will come. So faith
Yep.
has been like 100%.
Yeah.
And then another huge thing for me was, so I didn't tell you this part, but when we lost our business and this house was just barely sheetrocked.
Mhm.
And the first 2 days when I didn't sleep, it was really a decision of I'm going to sell the Park City build.
Yep.
I'm going to sell this build. My home that I lived in was paid for. We didn't sell that to build this house. We lived
Yeah.
in it for 19 years. I was like, we have 4 properties that are paid for. I'm just going to sell these, take the 1.5 million plus in equity, and I'm
Uh-huh.
just going to chill out. Like, I'm just going to, I'm 44. I'm just going to kind of relax, like, just
Yeah.
live off of my rental income and just kind of simplify life, do my podcast, write a book. So that was like the 2 things. So I decided to sell the house. Well, we had this earned leadership retreat on a cruise ship 3 days after they took the business from us with that
Yeah.
company. And it was still paid for, so we still went. There was just no structured meetings on it anymore.
Right.
And so we made the decision to sell the house. Man, when I walked through here, it was barely like plastered, like the texture. And I'd come to peace with selling it. And I actually had 3 buyers that were going to buy it, interested in buying it for more than I had into it. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is all right. But man, when I walked through here, it felt like a sword through my heart.
But I can't do
Because it was
it.
like 20 years of like dreaming of it, and being patient. And I was like, I can do it, but it was just like a sword in my heart. Like, oh man, this hurts. But I'm willing. Like I surrendered it, I guess, in a way. And so we go on that cruise, and part of my routine every day is I write out my goals and vision. Like I said, I meditate and pray, meditate, just in silence.
Yep.
And the second night on the cruise, my wife sleeps in on the cruise at like 9 a.m., but I'm up at 6, like just going to town. And I decided to launch the peptide business.
Yeah.
So I was up at 6 doing my routine and contacting people and
This was just you, just solo.
just me, yeah, in my room, and my wife sleeping. And so I had a dream that night that I was sitting on the back deck of this house in a rocking chair with my wife. And I saw all these, my kids in the backyard, but I saw these little kids. And I don't know why, but my wife's Spanish, by the way. She was born in Bolivia. There's this little, like, maid or something, like Spanish lady with a mop. And we were just laughing with her and talking about how beautiful life was. And that was a dream. And then it was over. And I woke up, and part of my meditation, like in prayer, is like, what does this mean? Because like we're selling that house. Because part of my daily visualization is even when it was built, I bought at the thrift store a rocking chair for like $3, a wooden one of those old wooden ones that was like probably at
Yep.
your grandma's house, and it was on the deck through the whole build. And I would drive over every day, sit out there, and write my daily post for social media.
Love it.
So like I call it like touching the dream. Like I was touch like as if I lived here, like looking the Grand Tetons. I can see them out in my backyard. It's like
100.
fields and the Tetons
Yeah.
and the river. And so like I'm visualizing it, but now I'm confused because I have this dream. We decided to sell it. I have this dream that's there, and it turns out they were my grandkids in that dream. And so I'm like just like praying, like, what does this mean? Like we've already decided to sell this.
Mhm.
And I just felt that I have the chills, man. It's all like standing up. I just had this strong feeling just come into my heart that said, like, I just wanted to make sure that you were willing to give up anything material.
Yeah.
And I showed you that dream because it's still alive. It's still possible. It's not
Mhm.
over. And so by the time we were ahead of time on the cruise, so called my builder when I knew he would be up, and I was like, hey, because I put a pause on it. We're not going to
Mhm.
put the fluoride or anything in. And I was like, keep building. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, we're still going to do it.
That's
And
awesome.
and so like I mean that's faith. That's like listening or hearing a prayer. I mean hearing seeing a dream,
So that was
praying
before
about it.
you even the peptide business even took off.
What's that?
That was before your new business even took
Oh, we
off.
didn't even have product. We didn't even ship products yet.
You had full faith in it. You were like, you know what,
I
this
was
is
like 3 days into like reaching out to people, being like, "Hey, we're launching this company on November 1st with peptides. I really think you should take a look at it." Like just all day in my DMs. So yeah, it was no income, no money coming in from that, and so all faith based on that.
that is awesome, man. I love those stories are what make me honestly, it really just helps me get through like everything I'm going through because
Good.
so far from where I want to be, I've got a vision. And some days, you're sitting there and you're like, oh, like why did I start this? Or like, I don't want to do this anymore. Or am I going down the right route? Whatever it may be. But hearing stuff like that is just everything you need to keep on going. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, keep that dream and that vision clear. And then I believe if you have, sometimes Ed Milet talks about this, you have confidence, or someone say, I don't have confidence if I can grow this hunt fit to the level I want to be, or I could be one of the top, revenue selling of land or whatever it is. You don't have to have confidence. You just have to know that you have good intentions. Like that can give you all the confidence in the world. If you have good intentions, and then you keep that clear vision and you show up doing the daily, not distracted, but doing the daily important things, you'll get there. You're like your success is inevitable, Devon. So
Appreciate that, man. That means a lot.
yeah, you got it, man. I'll ask you one more question. Um, what's a hardship that you had in life that taught you the most?
Ooh,
Because we talked about all the good stuff, like
yeah, that's a loaded one, man. I think what my mind goes to first is injury. Like, I'm at a different point in my life right now where I'm not playing. I'm still competing. I have do high rocks and marathons and Spartans and a couple other cool fitness events coming up. But like in college, especially, I guess this is was a big just learning curve, in general. College is its own learning curve. Being a college athlete, like your identity is also, yeah, for me, it was Division I lacrosse player.
Yeah.
Playing at the highest level you can play, compete against the best in the world. And injury was the first thing that came to mind. I've broken my hip, I've broken both my hands, I've gotten stitches, I've played through injury, torn things, pulled things. And I think, it's easy to say things like those because, I mean, you're literally physically handicapped because of it. But as I've gotten older, I think the biggest hardship was with that being over. I'm like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
I'm no longer, I'm not like a professional athlete or anything like that. I have all these passions, all these hobbies. I'm starting to think about, the rest of my life. I think a big hardship was picking, like what next. I think coming out of college, you're looking at like, okay, like I need to pick one thing and that's what I'm gonna do. That's who I'm gonna be. That's what I'm gonna do. And I think that's a, big misconception because one, you don't have to do one thing for the rest of your life. Two, it's not like you can, not change. You do it for a few months, a year, a few years. You can always change, pivot, and kind of go after that. And I think just me moving down to Texas, meeting new people, chasing new careers, new jobs, and just trying to figure it out along the way. I think that's been my biggest hardship. And I'm a big burn the boats guy. Once I do something, like you said, you're all in on it. And, I don't really necessarily give myself an escape route because if I give myself an out, I'll probably take it when things get hard. If
Yeah.
you don't have an out, it's okay, let's figure it out. Let's make it work. And I think battling some of those has been my biggest hardship and still going through it, honestly. But,
Yeah.
it challenges your faith. You see who you really are as a person, and, you can change and find success in a really short amount of time if you're willing to work for it. So,
Yeah, I think it's important for people to know that you can pivot. You could be 40 years old and be like, I hate my job. And I don't think people think about that too much. It's like, what's the retirement age? Like 46 or 66 or 67? Even a
yeah,
40-year-old has 26 more years of working life. Like that's plenty of time to go master a new skill with something that you're passionate about and totally shift your life and therefore your happiness. If you're doing something that you're miserable doing or you don't enjoy. So you can
100%.
always pivot. Now you hit the nail on the head with the identity, like when you've been a college athlete and then that's what you're known as, that's what you are, and then okay, now what? Now that this is done. I see that with just kids that are my oldest is 19, so I see all of her friends finish playing their football careers where they're the best on the field and win state, and then they maybe don't go play college football. I'm like, oh, what do I do now? And they haven't thought of anything other than football, for example. So
Yeah.
I
I
see.
think someone who really actually, talks about that a lot is, my girlfriend. She's got, I've got the Hunt Fit thing. She's actually got Faith Fit.
Oh,
She's
cool.
really big in her faith. She makes me better with it, but she goes and talks a lot about how she was a college soccer player, really
Oh, cool.
talented one, and super successful. And, that's one of the things she struggled with. And we talk about that a lot. And I think that, she just made a video on that Instagram. It's relatively new Instagram, but it just hit 1 million views.
Awesome.
Like that shows, it's not like it's a really cool video that like she put a ton of time and effort into making and just like blew up naturally. I think it blew up because so many people relate with that,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be college sports. It can be something that they did before and whether it was taken away from them, like that, if that was your thing when you were in the sales and it got taken away from you, it's like trying to find a whole new thing and being able to pivot. People struggle with that, loss of identity in whatever aspect of life that is. And, we talk about that a lot, but I think it's important for people to know that you're not defined by like what you do. So, and I think that's where
Yeah.
faith comes into it a lot.
Yeah, that's not you're not defined by what you do. It's more like who you are and who you're becoming. That's
100%.
that's the most important. I think like for me on the pivot, that what made it so simple is I had a clear purpose for my life, not just like what I do or how I make money, like a clear purpose. So, and I think that's good for you or anybody on here that's listening to this is to really identify what your purpose is. And so mine is it's very simple. Like it's easily memorized because it's like who I am. I remind people their family is their most important work on earth. I help
Yep.
people feel better, and I teach people how to earn more income for their family so they can spend more time with loved ones and less time at a job that they hate.
That's
So
awesome.
super simple. So
Who can
even
turn that
though, yeah, even though that former company went away, like when I was making a decision of what do I do next, I just had to check the boxes. Can I still remind people that their family is the most important thing on earth? Like doing this? Yes. Can I help people feel better and healthier? Yes. Can I help people earn money? Yes. Okay, let's go.
That's
So
awesome.
if you get some clarity on that, I think that'll be powerful throughout your life when you know that. Awesome.
Couldn't
Well,
agree more.
Devin, any final words you want to share about life or anything?
Oh man, I hope we can maybe, a few years down the line revisit. And I know you mentioned at the beginning what your goals were by the time you reach 50, and I've got a handful of goals too. And so maybe we can rekindle and have this conversation later and talk about, man, what's happened the last couple of years and seeing where it's grown since this conversation.
Yeah, I love that. We'll stay connected and I'll be cheering you along on the way and we'll share your
Likewise.
hunt fit and everything that you're doing out there and hopefully we can help connect you with some awesome people.
Well, thank you, Scotty. I appreciate it, man.
You're welcome. Dude, I'm grateful for the conversation today, man, and we'll stay in touch.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you for joining us on this episode with Devon. We hope that you enjoyed the conversation that we shared with you today. We're here to remind you that your family is your most important work on earth, help you feel better, and learn how to earn more income for your family. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a positive review, clip what you like, or share it with a friend. My friend, it's time to level up.